So hi,
Hi, thanks for being on my show.
thank you for having me.
So, I thought to tell about you and the work that you're doing to my audience.
Okay.
So, can you please introduce yourself to my audience?
Okay, so my name is Toyin and I am a content creator. So why I like to call myself a content creator is because it kind of encapsulates everything that I do. I am a filmmaker. I've been a TV and radio host, and I've also, I'm a writer. I'm a journalist. So I kind of create content in all its formats, from written up until video. So I'm a producer. I create, social media content as well. So yeah, those are like that's basically what I do.
I can also see you are a Golden Globe voter.
I didn't get that.
You are a Golden Globe voter.
Yeah, I'm a Golden Globe voter as well.
So when you become a content creator,
I like to say that I've always been a content creator for a while, but I just never, it wasn't a thing for me until recently. And then that's because in the sense that I wasn't playing in the internet space for a long time, but I have always created content for radio, for television. I've always, come up with radio and TV shows and created content in that sense. But for the internet, I just recently started creating content, seriously on the internet. I used to just write a couple of times on the internet and, post normally. But then in 2021, I decided, what, I think that I want to take this internet business seriously and I want to create content, more content for the internet. So, yeah, but then I've always created content. I've always been a content creator because I've worked in radio and television, and basically what you do is create content when you're in front of the camera or you are hosting a show. So I've always been, and that was in 2013. I started work as a TV host in 2013. But then in 20, and I worked on radio I started working in radio in 2015. And then up until 2019 was when I now decided I wanted to start writing as well. So I wrote in 2020, and then 2021 I started on Medium as a content writer and also on social media, creating social media content.
so what content you have done for TV and radio?
So I've done so many shows, to be honest. I started out as an entertainment reporter and producer when I started working in TV. You would cover events, go for shows, and then package it into an entertainment news. And then I was doing that till 2015 when I started working in radio. And in radio, I pretty much did a lot of content. I did, small talk. I used to handle the morning belts and the evening belts as well, where you just, morning belts is basically you like a breakfast show. And then I did, the evening belt. I did the feminist show. I did so many shows, really. I feel like because I'm very versatile, so I kind of was open to doing a lot of shows at the time. And, my producers, he really just gave me so many things to do at the same time. Sometimes I'm hosting a science show, sometimes. So it's really just me doing so many things at the same time. So yeah, I created so many content, but majorly in the entertainment space and also in the educative space.
And what is the feedback that you got?
Yeah, so the feedback that I got was, I think that first is that I'm such a great interviewer, so I know how to draw out, the best responses from my interviewees, from people I'm talking to, and I kind of enjoyed it as well because, first of all, it meant that I would use something that I loved doing, which was listening. I love listening a lot. People always assume that when you like to be a host, maybe on radio or on television, that you would like to talk a lot. Yeah, you'd like to talk. I think it's not like I think I am very vocal and I'm a very articulate person. But the part that I liked the most about it was I listened a lot, and I had to listen, and I learned from listening to people talk. So I can get the most interesting thing out of people just by listening to them. So it was the thing that I liked about it the most, and it was the feedback that I got, that I was like, most of the time I'd interview somebody and then they'd never ever expect that it was going to be that interesting, and then they'd be like, wow, that was really great, thank you so much. And then because of the quality of the conversations I had with people, whoever you may be, whether you're a celebrity or just a random, like an ordinary person, I feel like everybody has an interesting story to tell. So I always sought to bring that out.
So what is your style of interviewing?
Conversational. I think that's what I would say. I like to imagine that I'm having a conversation with people and we're pretty much just recording the conversation. So imagine those moments where you're gisting with your friend or with, some strangers, and the conversation is really intense. You're learning so much. You're having so much fun. So I just like to bring that element into my interview. So I think that conversational is my style when it comes to interviewing, trying to just pretty much reenact the conversations that we have on a day-to-day basis, whereby sometimes you're having the most mundane conversation, but you're learning so much. You're excited, you're carried away, you're in the moment. There's all of that when you're having a conversation with someone. So yeah, conversational is my style.
And what is the best interview that you have done?
Honestly, I can't remember a lot now, but I think that I remember one in particular, and it was that of a fashion designer. She works in oil and gas at the time, and then she just started a fashion business. And I gave her the first interview on radio, and then she came on radio. She was so nervous, she was scared. She was like, "Toyin, can I do this?" And I was like, "You know what? Just relax. You're going to have a really wonderful time." And then by the time we were done with that interview, she was like, "Wow, Toyin, thank you so much." Like she didn't even know that she could be that confident on air, that she could, do so much, that she wouldn't know, like, that initial nerve that people feel when they're coming on air for the first time, that feeling of, oh my gosh, the whole world is listening to me, or so many people are listening to me. Now I have to be on my best behavior. But I just like them, I feel like I make people just get carried away with the conversation, like you're just in flow, such that you don't even remember that you're on radio anymore. So I think it's always memorable. I still remember her till now. I remember that conversation, or I remember the interview and how it made her feel and how it made me feel at the end of the day. So yeah, I think that's, as far as I can remember, that's one of the best interviews I've had.
What is the difference between creating content for radio and TV?
Basically, it's just that when you're creating content for TV, you're creating content for visual, and it has more. It requires a lot more technicality. It means that you have to deal with visuals. You have to, go places. You have to, like, there's so many things, so many elements that you have to focus on when you're creating content for TV. But when you're creating content for radio, I mean, the moment you just go into the studio after you prepared, and then if it's an interview, if it's a show, whatever it is, everything is there for you, and you just present and you go. And but then for TV, there's post-production, there's all of that you have to do. And you have to take care of your looks, you have to take care of, so many things when it comes to visuals. Anything could go wrong when it comes to TV, maybe the lighting is not right, whatever. So for me, I think that creating content for TV and creating content for radio are really very different, but they are linked in the sense that, if you create content for TV, it will be easier, I think. And then, when you create content for radio as well, you're creating content for the ears, for another type of senses entirely. So people don't have the benefit or the privilege of seeing what you're saying. So you have to paint a picture in their minds when you're talking to them, and you cannot afford to be boring. People can, if you're creating content for TV, for example, people are watching something, and then they have so many things that can keep them busy. But for radio, you have to hold their attention. So yeah, that's the difference.
And how much you reached? How much audience you reached?
At the time. So, well, basically at the time it was a campus radio. So, and the funny thing was that the audience was large in the sense that, people would think that, oh, it's only students who were listening to you. But we had people, I remember then when I used to have at night when I used to do, the midnight show, and people would call from all over Lagos. And Lagos is a city of 13 million people. Of course, maybe 13 million people were not listening to me at the same time, but I know that it was a sizable audience. But personally, I think that at some point I didn't feel like a lot of people were listening to me, because when it comes to radio or television, you don't have that direct feel with your audience. Unlike when you're online, when, if somebody watches you have the numbers there, and people are commenting, people are interacting with you live, like immediately you're getting your response like right now. So yeah, I think that was the reach. That was the reach for me.
And which geographic location you reached?
So it was basically Lagos, the city of Lagos in Nigeria.
So you created content which are connected with Nigeria.
Yes, exactly.
So you are into content creating since.
Yes, I've been creating content online. I write. I have this Instagram content where we call it duets with my friend, and it's just like a 1 minute to 2 minutes Instagram content. And then I also have made short films, web series. So yeah, basically I create content for internet mostly now.
So I saw some of your videos on YouTube. Your acting and the narration was really good.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So how much time you spent in creating content in your life?
I think that I pretty much spend it depends really. So sometimes I'm filming the whole day. Like last week Friday, I was filming all day, like from 8 a.m. till like 8 p.m. I was in the studio filming. And then on some days I'm not filming because I've blocked shoots. And some days, even if I'm not creating, visual content, I'm creating written content, I'm writing articles, I'm writing tweets, I'm using Canva to create content for Instagram. So I'm pretty much always creating content on a daily basis. So for me, I don't think I take note of the number of hours. I just do it as it comes. And then sometimes, I'm creating content for TV. Like currently I'm working on a project where I'm creating content for a TV station. And then, I did that for like 2 weeks, where I was recording interviews, researching and all of that. So content creation, I feel like it's a constant grind in the sense that you're spending time listening to yourself, you're spending time observing things, watching, listening, reading tweets, and then getting inspiration from all of those things. So it's a constant grind as far as I'm concerned. Today I've posted on Facebook. So I pretty much do it all the time, honestly.
So how much experience you have?
I like to say I have 10 years experience in this job, writing, creating content for radio and television, and then in the internet now. I have about 10 years experience.
So you have used uh, all the three mediums to communicate with the world.
Yes, I have.
So which one you like?
I think so. When people ask me that question, I really do not know how to answer, and the reason is because I create content. So some content will come to you, and then it's in form of a visual content. Some other content ideas will come to you, and you just know this is an article. So it's just pretty much me trying to express myself. So I don't have a favorite. So it's just the medium that the inspiration comes with. So whatever medium it comes with, I just go ahead and make it. So I don't have a favorite per se, but maybe writing because it's pretty much easy. You have an idea right now, you just write and you're done. So I think that's what I like about writing in itself, and then it has the potential to also go far, even as far as videos go. So Yeah, I think maybe writing is my favorite. But really, I love the three medium. They have their own peculiarities. I can edit an audio content or for a podcast, and then you can put in emotions. You can evoke emotions. But even writing evokes emotions. So I don't have a favorite, but maybe writing because it's easy.
So, what is your intention to put your content out?
Uh, for me, it's just to keep creating, basically. Um, I've still published an article yesterday on Medium. I'm going to publish my newsletter tomorrow on LinkedIn. I mean, the Instagram post is coming up on Thursday. So my web series is in the works. It's just to keep expressing myself, honestly, to keep writing and creating and making videos and making audios and just putting stuff out there, putting my thoughts, my mind out there, and just letting people and connecting with people all around the world.
So, a content creator in you, how this person in you helped you, uh, uh, another person who is just a human being.
Sorry, I didn't get that. Can you take that question again?
Uh, you are expert in writing, talking, also putting yourself out in visual. So this is something that is completely your professional thing. And
Yeah.
personally, how this professional person in you helped you as a human being, whether it
Okay,
can
so
be interacting with people or
yeah.
understanding or interacting with the society.
So I think basically it has helped my social life a lot because I'm introverted, but I can have conversations with pretty much anybody because of my experience, my professional experience. I mean, if I meet anybody anywhere from anywhere in the world today, I can have a decent conversation with them. So it has helped me in that regard. And also it has helped me because it helps me expand my perspective as well. So, and I think that comes up in how I interact with even my friends. So because I am very open, when you interact with so many people all around the world, when you interact with different subject matter, different people from different cultures, it just helps you expand your perspective. And that is something that I'm really grateful for. And it helps me as well when I'm interacting with people. I'm not thinking, oh, this person is not like this, so I mean, I don't like them because of that. No, for me, it's like, oh, they're different from me, and I'm trying to understand them. I'm trying to understand their culture. I'm trying to understand, their perspective. So basically, it's helped me become a better human being, because in the sense that I can interact with people from a much more genuine place and from a much more open place.
Eventually, you're creating content for the world, for them to view it or to listen it or to read it. So so how do the responses or the feedback influence the way you are putting your content?
So I think that lately I've not really been big on just on getting on feedback influencing the kind of content that I put out. And the reason is because um I feel like sometimes you have to like sometimes people will take time to catch up with what you are saying, and if you always just rely on the feedback that you get, then you pretty much don't create from a place from a genuine place or from the soul. Then you're creating because you need people to say, oh, I like this, or I resonate with this, or I find this interesting, and all of that. But then when it comes to, especially by writing, I feel like I've gotten a lot of feedback. You just write something and somebody's saying, oh my, I can relate to this. It has helped me in this way. It has helped me in this manner. And, I feel like for me, that's like the greatest thing. It doesn't matter the number of people. It's just really about, oh, the lives that it touched, that one person that my writing or my content, it touches. So yeah, that's it for me.
So a lot of people are watching and listening and reading to you. So is it possible for you, or is it easy for you to communicate and connect with everyone who consume or who connect with your content?
I'd say it's not easy, to be honest, because like I said, I'm introverted and I really get overwhelmed very easily. So it's not easy, But what I do is I just try to make sure that I do that. But and it doesn't have to be immediately. Sometimes when I'm up to it, I'm responding, I'm interacting. Like today, I interacted a lot on Facebook. I put out a question on a Facebook group that I'm a part of, and then people have been responding all day, and I'm like, okay, yeah. So I've been reacting to their questions and all of that. But then basically, sometimes it can be overwhelming. But I try as much as possible to connect with people, to reach them, to say, oh, thank you, or to respond to them, because that's really important. That's how you build community.
So in your 10 years of content creating experience, what you have learned?
I've learned that consistency is important. I've learned that I've learned to hone, to perfect, that I just have to keep perfecting how to express myself. Content creation is really about expressing yourself to the world. So the best way to do that is to make sure you keep honing that, you keep, working on that, perfecting the art of expressing yourself.
Is it possible for you to be yourself every time that when you create content?
Well, I try to be genuine, like at least I know like about 90% of the time, because sometimes, yeah, the outside influences would affect what you put out there. But honestly, if it's not genuine, I find it very difficult to do. So yeah, I try to be genuine, to be myself, and to say, you know what, this is who I am, and I'm just putting myself out there in the world to find people who connect with me.
Do the responses affect your way of expressing?
Yeah, maybe sometimes, but I make it a point of duty not to let responses affect me, because it's very important for you to know that, there are different kinds of people in the world, and you would not even take advice from everybody if they were in front of you. So why would I let them affect me, or let their responses affect me?
So different people thinks in different way and communicates in different way, and
Exactly.
talks in different way and consumes in different way, and how you are able to make them uh, draw their attention.
I think that, like you said, the best way to connect with people is to be genuine and to be yourself. And you'll find people from all over the world who can connect with you, who feel what you're feeling in that moment. And the thing I like about content creation is that you can reach anybody anywhere in the world. So on Medium, I have people from all over the world, reading my content. And the truth is, excuse me. And the truth is, if it's human, if it's genuine, you'll find somebody who can connect with you.
So who connects with your content more? Male, female, and what age group? And which
I think
country?
more women, and age group are probably young people like me, people in my age group. But then I find that I connect also with people who are elderly, people who are younger. I connect from people from all over. And then country. So it depends on the platform. If you talk about Instagram, for example, Instagram is more people from Nigeria, because that community actually grew from my friends and family and all of that, and my professional community. But then when you talk about Medium, it's really from all over the world. I can't even tell. Like you see somebody from India, somebody from Kenya, somebody from Ghana, somebody from America, somebody from USA, somebody from Netherlands. You just have people from all over the world connecting with you.
So how is expressing with other country people?
I think, like I said, we're all human beings. And if you can connect with people as human beings first, then you will not have problems connecting with anybody. It's just like me, you and I having this conversation, for example, now. You are asking me questions, I'm answering. We're both human beings, even though we're not from the same part of the world. So, I mean, maybe because I like Indians, but still, you are a human being, I'm human, and we're just talking as two human beings. What our culture doesn't matter here, or if we're not thinking about our differences, but thinking about where we connect.
So you are into content creation from long time. So what made you to be neutral when you're writing or saying or showing something?
I think it's the understanding that you're not always right, one, and your advice will not work, or whatever it is you're writing will not work for everyone, and not everybody is going to connect with what you're saying. So that keeps me neutral all the time. So when I'm saying something, I'm like, okay, I know this is what I'm saying, and I'm finding an alternative argument for others because I know that not everybody is going to connect with what I am saying, and not everybody is going at that place where I am right now.
So where this thinking for you came from?
Where Sorry, excuse me.
Whatever you said till now, where this kind of thinking for you came from?
Uh, from exposing myself to, content from every other person, from reading, writing, watching, listening to podcasts. That's where all my thinking comes from. And then from also ruminating and meditating and thinking for myself as well. So, all of it is a combination of, external and internal.
So what is the difference that you observe in other content creators and in you?
I think that other content creators, I feel like people are creating content according to what they deem fit, what they think is right for them. And that is different for everybody. It's not the same for me. It's not the same for you. You create content because, of your own thinking or because of your own way of life. I create content according to what I want and what I think is right for me. So basically, that's the difference.
You also produce and make films.
Yeah.
What you did?
I didn't get that.
What you did? What you produced and what films
Okay.
you made?
Well, I've made short films. One of them is Monitoring Spirits, and which I made when I was in film school, and it's taking me to festivals. The film is just a film about a young woman who is being held back by her society, by her family, by her, religious leader, and all of that. And I have the pilot episode of my web series currently in the works right now. And yeah, that as well is just something that I started working on from my own personal experiences about hunting for apartments in Lagos. And I think it's the same in any major city in the world. Looking for an apartment in any major city in the world can be really tough. So I just felt like this is something that will be, that'll be screen worthy. So, this story has to be told. People have to connect with it. So yeah, that's some of the projects that I have worked on.
So what is the best content all time for you?
I can't tell, to be honest. That's the thing. I can't tell, but I can't tell. I don't have, like the best of all time. Maybe if when I create an article or create a content that now goes viral that has like millions of views, then I can say, oh yeah, that's my best content. But for now, no, I don't have. I think that I just have like some favorites here and there, some favorite articles, but basically, yeah.
What your the guests who came to your show said you?
What did it tell me?
Yeah, about your work.
I think that pretty much a lot of people have commended my work, and there are some people that it didn't go well, and they're like, yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, like you just don't get responses from people like that again. But most of the time, people always say, oh my, like I really enjoy the conversation, and when people say that to me, I think that that's the best compliment I could get for my work.
So creating content for different platforms, different mediums, how is that?
I think it is stressful sometimes. It is tough, but then you can repurpose and make it easier. But because you have to keep thinking and keep changing, your strategy for different platforms and all of that. So yeah, it can be tough, but you have to understand each platform, to know what works for each platform. What doesn't work here? What works on Instagram doesn't work on Twitter. What works on Twitter doesn't work on LinkedIn. What works on LinkedIn doesn't work on Facebook, and that's how it is. So you really need to basically understand platform and then also learn that repurposing is something that it just helps you spread your tentacles.
Do you practice anything to connect with everyone?
Practice in what sense?
Do you, after having this much experience in content creating in your life, have you understood that, yeah, this is the way that I should be doing the content so that I can reach everywhere?
I think the only thing is consistency. Just keep doing it. That's the thing I practice, and that's the thing I try to live by. Just be consistent at it, and that's the way to reach many people.
In the beginning, you mentioned you are very diverse and you like diversity.
Yeah.
So creating content for different things and also uh, talking with different people. How is that in your work?
I think it's exciting. It's really interesting, and you learn so much. You learn about life, about people when you can interact with people from different parts of the world, from different works of life. You just learn so much, and I think that your life is better for it because when you learn and you get to the corner of your house, sometimes you don't even know how useful the information that you get sometimes can be to you. So yeah, I think it's the learning for me.
So which one do you think that is the best way to express anything? Which communication style?
I, I think that writing is still like the best way as far as I'm concerned. And you'd ask me why. That's why Twitter is popular. And even with most platforms, when you post a video on Instagram, you still caption it. So even sometimes the video is explanatory. It says it all, but sometimes you still add the caption because words are still really powerful.
So how you are able to talk with different countries, people, because their accent will be different and their experience will be different and the way they and their time zone will be different.
I think that I've had a lot of experience. First of all, with watching, like for example, I'm talking to you with watching Indian films, and watching American films, watching British films. So you gotta get used to the way that everybody talks. When an Indian person talks now, I'm kind of used to it because I've watched a lot of Indian films. When someone from America talks, I'm I'm used to the American accent. When someone from Britain talks or the UK, I mean, I'm used to the game of the British accent there. So or the UK accent. So yeah, there's that. And then, I mean, that's how I understand accents. And also because I've even before, I mean, in the course of my work, I've interacted with people and I've just kind of gotten used to that. Like, for example, in November of 2020, I was taking a class with the Radio Netherlands Training Center. And we had people from all over the world, from Hyderabad, from India, from all over the world, from Algeria, from Nigeria, from other parts of Africa, and at first some accent was really difficult for me to understand, but with time I got a grip of it. So yeah, I think the more you interact with people, the more you learn about them. And if you're open to learning about people, I think that that's the most important thing. If you're open, then definitely you would learn how to interact with them from being open to learning from them. So I just try to learn from people, understand their culture, understand, their sensibilities. And even when I have made an error, I'd apologize and, ask questions as well.
So how many country people you have interacted with?
Honestly, I can't count, to be honest. I cannot count. I've been interacting with people from all over the world for the longest, I mean, as long as I have started working. I've traveled to South Africa. I have interacted with people, from the Netherlands, from just all over the world. And I can't count. I've interviewed people even here in Nigeria who are from abroad, from Germany, from, UK, from America, from China, you know. I've interacted with people from all over the world, honestly. I don't think there's any continent that I have not, maybe Australia though. So I think probably that's the only continent that I have not interacted with. But from every other place, yeah, I have.
So, their architectures, everything is different, right? In different countries, people think in different way and they talk in different style. So, how you are able to adapt to everybody who comes to you?
People are human beings. I said that earlier. I mean, like, they're human beings, and just interact with them as human beings, as people, and you'll have very little problem.
Awesome. So, at last, what do you say about your work to my audience?
I just say that I think the only advice I like to give is that just work from your soul, work from here. Whatever, I don't know what people are doing. People might be doing so many different things with their life, but what I would say is that, the best place to do any kind of work is work that fulfills you, that comes from here. And for me, for me, I'd say that you can just check me out, honestly, at Toyin Ganiyu on LinkedIn, at Toyin Zulea on Instagram and on Twitter. And then you can check me out also on Medium, Toyin Zulea. So you can just check me out on all of those platforms. And I think that's what I would say to your audience. That, maybe you'd find something that interests you in my content.
And at last, tell me you as a Golden Globe voter.
Okay, so I think it's exciting to be one of the international voters recently selected to vote for films on the Golden Globes, and it's because I watch a lot of American content, and then somebody from the Hollywood Foreign Press Association just reached out to me and said, we're likely to be a part of the voters rather, and I'll say, oh yeah, great, I'm really excited about that. So and it just exposed me to a lot more content, even though I see those content, but then being a part of the decision making process of how some films get selected and how they win, I think it's an honor, honestly, that I do not take for granted.
Whom you voted recently?
Say that again, sorry.
As a voter, whom you voted in recent?
Well, excuse me, I'm not allowed to say the people that I vote for. Yeah, that is top secret.
So my state content is also out and got a Golden Globe award. So there
Yeah,
are a lot of
RRR, right?
yeah.
I saw that, and that's a really interesting film. I watched it like 2 times, to be honest, when it just came out on Netflix. And honestly, it's such a cinematic experience.
So yeah. So when I was searching for that in Twitter, then I found you as an voter. Then I saw your work, and then we are talking like this.
Yeah. Yes.
So as a content creator, as a communicator, as a person who is into all the platforms and understood everything about expressions in from last 10 years, what do you say about my work?
I think that your work is honestly very important, and it's such a beautiful work, and it's such a courageous thing for you to do. I mean, to start creating content is something that you have to, I think it takes courage. And you've interviewed people from all walks of life, from all over the world, and I find it really exciting. I mean, I just saw that you said, oh, you're going to interview people, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I could talk to you. I'm excited to have a conversation with you. So I think that your work is great, and you just have to keep doing it.
So I interviewed more than 550 professionals from more than 100 plus country. And also actually I did masters in software engineering, bachelors in computer science and engineering. Right now I'm
Oh, great.
getting trained as AWS Cloud DevOps Engineer. Apart from that, I'm doing this for my mediums. And actually, I didn't thought that I'll do 500 plus and reach everywhere. But I don't know what is working in me. I don't know what that qualities which made me to
Your
do so.
work rate is very high. Your work rate is very, very high. And I really commend you. Over 500 people, that is a lot, to be honest. And honestly, it's great that you're doing this.
So how this work is going to be helpful for me in coming days?
I think that you're building your brand and you're taking a part of the digital real estate. And when you have a part of the digital real estate, you can do anything with it. You can, when you create a platform and you have your own audience, you really can do anything with it. You can sell to them. You can, like, it's audience is leverage, and that's what you're building. So I think it's going to help you no matter what it is you do. If you have an audience, you have leverage.
And what you will say about my uh, uh, presentation? I mean, my way of interviewing you.
Well, I think that you are doing a pretty good job of interviewing me, and you've had a lot of experience, obviously. And yeah, so I think that maybe you could just try and be more interactive for me. So, and I know that you mute the recording, sorry, your own mic when you're talking, but then, sometimes, are you there?
Yeah, yeah, I'm here.
Okay, and then sometimes, yeah, so I feel like instead of it just looking like a question and answer thing, let's look like we're having a conversation. But honestly, you're doing a good job to, aside that it's really, and it showed that you have read about me, you have, researched me to know the things that I do and, the things that I say online.
So can I put this video on my YouTube channel with your permission?
Yes,
And also,
absolutely. You can put it on your.
yeah, and also can I put this audio and video clip on my podcast, website, internet, social media, everywhere
Oh,
with your
yeah,
permission?
great. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that. Just send me the link when you do.
Okay, and I'll put your web links as well. People who finds my video on YouTube can see your work as well. Also, my podcast listeners have listened
Exactly.
already your Instagram and LinkedIn.
Yeah.
If you want to spell it, you can spell it.
Okay, my network is a bit crappy now, so I really can't see you, but I can. It's breaking.
Okay, okay,
But yeah, you have permission to put the links there.
yeah. So thank you again for your time.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, have a great day.